eventually it's going to get to a point where you begin to see the matrix for what it is. Um, that the matrix being the world that the system, the world that we were born into, the world that you and I were born into. And a couple things are going to happen. You're going to understand that you weren't meant to fit in. So that's one reason why you begin to uh, become self-aware of your place in the system, in the matrix. Or the other thing is that you are the opposite. You're accepted everywhere you go. You make friends every day. People like you. Your family likes you. You make friends very quickly. You get promotions. You're favored, and you become so satisfied at your level, whatever level you're at in the system, in the matrix, that you begin to question what else is there for me to do here. So, those are based on my experience. I'm the first case, by the way, but for people who fall into the second case that I just mentioned about um, just having good luck, being favored, things come really easy for them. Based on my observation, if you're that person, you're going to hit a wall one day and ask yourself, what is all this for? And why am I truly here? For people like me, we come to that conclusion decades, years before the other people do. That's just how it is, okay? So I'll speak from my experience. Once I became fully aware of what is really going on in this system, in this matrix, how it's set up, how the those genders are completely divided, and how the world favors one gender and kicks us men like under the bus, and in a ditch. Um, and also once I realized how that one, no one's ever coming to save me, right? I realized that very young. Number two, no one cares about me, or no one cares about uh, anyone. Okay, they just pretend to. Number three, there's a lot of fake people in the world. Everybody's fake. Authenticity is punished, fakeness is rewarded. Number four, bad people are rewarded and good people. I say good with quotations here because people that are good, we are so kind, and we are so ethical and morally, we have standards and boundaries that if people cross those, we can become bad on a flip of a switch because we have to. So that's why I say bad people are truly bad people. Those types of characters and characteristics are rewarded, and the people like me and you, good, I'll put it like that, by nature, we are punished, taken advantage of, lied about, fired from jobs, um, gang stalked, uh, you know, workplace mobbed, mobbed in the family, even divided, excluded, you name it. It's a whole list I'm not really going to go into because I don't have to. You get the point. But my whole point when I started this video, all right, I was going somewhere with this, is that when it gets to the point where you realize how the system works and how what the matrix really is, you're going to become disgusted with it. And I don't mean disgusted and defiant, rebellious, like a lot of people I hear about are right now. But they're still plugged in. They're very plugged in, and they're very materialistic, and they're very narcissistic. Again, the list can go on forever. But then they talk about how like that they don't like the government and the matrix and what have you, right? I'm not talking about those people because those people, they like being plugged in. Those people like where they're at. They like talking about it, pretending that they have no other choice in life. Therefore, they stay in their comfort zone. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about if you're people like me, I understand that when I realize the matrix and the system is for what it is, I'm going to I became disgusted with it. And I just want to say, not discouraged, but almost lost hope in what my purpose here is for. And then I realized that I am a healer on so many different levels. All right. People, people hate when I'm around, but they need me to be around, if that makes any sense. When I'm around my family, they'll ignore me on purpose or they'll act really funny. But the second I leave, they want me to come back for whatever reason, whether it because um and it's not just family. That goes for jobs I've had, it goes for friend groups I used to have. I haven't had friends in years. I'm talking years. And but back then, even when I had friends, I would be in the group and they would want me there, whether to do humiliation rituals on me, mess around with me, or take advantage of me. And then the second I leave, they want me to come back so they can keep doing that because they miss doing that. Or the number two is that the healer side of me, because I have a dark side and a light side, right? As most people do, they just haven't figured it out yet. My dark side is the side that is disgusted with this matrix, the side that who I really am, I have to bottle it up and not show it to people because it would terrify them. But then we have my light side, which is the healer side, where I've been in social situations where people want me there and they need me there, but they'll treat me like complete trash. So when I leave out of self-respect or because I have to leave, right? Because I have stuff to do, I'll hear down the line that people were upset that I left or they were questioning why I was leaving as if I owed them something, and that's just their ignorance that makes them view me leaving in that perspective. However, I tend to think on my light side that it's a healer portion of me where when I'm around, there are certain individuals who actually need me there because I am helping their spirit and their soul become awake from the sleep that this matrix has forced upon them. All right. And once I started figuring out the spiritual uh, richness of becoming unplugged, all right, I still live in the world, obviously. I still, like, I have internet, I have a cell phone, right? Like, everyone has a cell phone. Um, I've had jobs on and off, right? So you could say that I'm still in the matrix, but up here and in here, I'm completely unplugged and unattached because that spiritual journey started when I realized that what the world really is, and this is not what I like. And um, that introduced me to a bunch of other spiritual practices I'm not going to get into in this video, but um, like meditation. I'll name a few for you. Meditation, being alone, just sitting and doing nothing, just being, um, taking on challenging projects that I thought were impossible. I just finished one on my car. Um, it took me hours and hours, and I got like blisters and everything. Um, but like I've learned that there is no satisfaction unless I want nothing. As um, I want to say, I want to say Carl Jung or Aristotle, one of those guys said, "Desire is the root of all suffering." I think it was Nietzsche actually, Friedrich Nietzsche. Desire is the root of all suffering. And I'm not a big guru into those guys. I don't really study them, but once in a while I'll come across some of their works. Um, and since desire is the root of all suffering, I've learned that I have to want nothing and become nothing to feel fulfilled. a little backstory is I used to work at fast food. No, it wasn't fast food. This was when I was working at a coffee shop. I was a cashier there, and I remember being in the back in the break room having a conversation with one of my coworkers because um, I don't know. I guess she was worried about uh, something going on in her life. I think she was graduating some from a school or something, and she was asking me all the opinions about stuff like what dress should she get, um, what color would look good on her when she goes to this event. And I remember I just sat there and didn't care. And she started to get a little agitated, and I told her, I told her that she asked me why I don't care. And I know some of you might say, "Oh, don't you took the bait and answered the question." Well, I wasn't attracted to her at all. I just didn't care. She was just a coworker. And so when she asked, why don't you care?" And I answered, "Because I don't want anything." Like I told her that you you care so much, you're going to ask me my opinion about what you should get. These are your decisions. I don't care. I don't want anything. I have no desire to tell you what you should get and what you look good in. That's your call. I'm just your coworker here. Like, and so she said, "Oh no, Jeff, I want your opinion. I just want someone else's opinion." And I looked at her and I remember saying, "Hey, you got tons of people in your life you can ask their opinion from. I'm not that person to share." And so she just kind of looked confused at me because she probably have never heard that before from anyone in her life. And that's when I told her to become somebody, you got to become nobody. And she kind of looked at me kind of funny and she asked me, okay, like she was just, like awkward moment, I guess. But I told her that because the way that it doesn't matter if this was a guy, even if a guy was asking me or a customer was asking me, anyone who asked me that question in that scenario, I would have given the same answer. Um, but she was so concerned about herself in that moment, and it just coming to me about what that opinion was. I didn't want to support that because I didn't want to put her on a pedestal, and I truly didn't care about what she was buying. I just don't care. Like it's below me. It gets to a point where when you realize like the games people play or the game, not the game she was playing, but the game the system tries to make people to care so much about stuff, I realize you can't care because it's taking your energy. So that's when I say to become somebody, you got to become nobody. And that's applies with my spiritual journey, with my transformation that I've acquired, that I've been working on over the past since last June, actually, maybe even before that, but definitely I locked in around this time last year. I became really serious about everything, and we nobody cares about me, so therefore, my job is to pour into myself and to not care about anything external. And the things I do care about, like for example, I'm a student right now, I'm putting the bare minimum into my courses and I'm doing just fine. I'm passing with flying colors. So that makes me even believe even more that you really can't care. And that's my advice I want to give you watching this video is that if you don't care, you're going to probably you're probably there's a high chance you're going to start to see the results in what you are working toward. And part of not caring means you have to have the courage to unplug from the matrix. If you can't physically leave your family, or if you're married or you have kids or a husband or a wife, right? Or what have you, mentally unplug by making time for yourself, by having a sacred space where you can just pour back into yourself, because this world is just going to take from you, and other people are just going to want to take. That's all people do. All right. Um, so speaking from my perspective, even I'm still not 100% unplugged from this matrix, because I still physically live in this matrix right now. All right. But the goal, what I want to do and what I will accomplish one day, is completely leave, become self sufficient. And even though I've left up here and I've detached up down here, all right, in my heart, from people, places, and things, and up here, I'm smart enough to know what's going on, to where I've detached, right? And I avoid becoming emotionally invested in things and people that I shouldn't be. I want to physically be, the third phase is physically remove myself completely from um, this matrix system, by living elsewhere, by living in the wilderness, or by just being alone and just trying to just have a peaceful life for myself. But my journey is far from over, and I will keep going because I have to.